Winding to an end, it's time to start searching the bookshelves for another great book club read.
And what would a book club be with some great food? So here with 3 reading recommendations and some menus to match is book editor for the Toronto Star, Deborah Dundas, and creative director at Eatertainment, Sebastien Centner. Good to see you, Centner. Good to see you both. How are you?
Nice to be
Hello,
here.
thanks to be here.
All right, let's start, if we can, with book number 1. Deborah, what are you recommending?
Well, first off is a novel by Sally Rooney. It's called Normal People. She's sort of seen as the voice of the millennial generation. And she's 29, she's from Ireland, and Normal People takes place initially on the west coast of Ireland. It's about 2 main characters, Marianne and Connell, and they grow up together. Connell is actually, his mom is the cleaning woman for Marianne's mom.
Okay.
And so there's a class thing going on. They get into a relationship, move off to Dublin, Trinity College, and it's about growing up together. It's about relationships. It's about class. So there's lots of things to talk about, how friendships form, whether they last through the years, and lots of touchstones for book club discussion.
All right, Sebastien, so I'm hosting book club this month. This is the book. What should I serve?
So first of all, when you're doing book club, one of the things that I really strongly believe is that it's got to be food that's good for sharing. You know, you're going to be sitting around, it could be on couches, etc. So it's got to be things you can hold on to while you're referring to book. Maybe you have a glass of wine in hand, etc. So definitely, of course, makes book club that much better. So all the food you're going to see today is made for sharing, and it's also stuff you can prepare ahead of time and then serve more sort of in bulk. So it's a lot easier for the host.
Okay.
So starting off, first of all, with Normal People, we took inspiration from 2 things. First of all, the whole university feel, and we melded that with the class difference. So we started out, for example, we took classic craft dinner. We all lived on it in university. We're going to do a bit more of an upscale version. So we did a mac and cheese with 7 different types of cheese. We topped it with Parmesan, and then, just to add that little bit of class to it, we're going to add some black truffle. Okay, right on top there.
Love it.
Okay, so that does something just a little bit higher end. And next thing, you guys all remember this?
Oh, yeah.
Ramen noodles?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, ramen noodles was like the diet in university. So we took the ramen noodles, but we turned it into something more interesting, a poke salad with ahi tuna.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Let's move over to book number 2, Deborah. We got Chop Suey Nation. Tell us about that book.
This one's a little bit more obvious for a food book club marriage. It's by Ann Hui, and she took a road trip across Canada with the question in mind, why does every small town in Canada have a Chinese restaurant? And then, who are the families behind it? So she's got, it's a wonderful sort of travelogue road trip across Canada. It's also about how immigrants built the nation, how a Canadian cuisine, Canadian Chinese cuisine came about. And so again, there's lots to talk about in terms of how families adapted to Canada when they came, and just Chinese food.
All right, so obviously you paired that with pizza, right?
Yeah, of course. Pizza. I mean, pizza pasta seemed like the natural choice. So no, we decided, of course, we were going to go classic Chinese. So what we did is we found these fantastic containers. We wanted to really do an ode to traditional Chinese food. So the way that you have it, as you mentioned, any Chinese food across Canada, any Chinese restaurant, you're going to get these classic dishes. So we did a stir fry, and we did that with a teriyaki beef with an orange glaze. Again, great for sharing. You can prepare ahead of time, warm up a whole batch, and serve it to people. And then what we decided to do is also, because we wanted some bite-sized items, is we did these little Chinese dumplings. So the Chinese dumplings also are beef-based. They have a dipping sauce that has orange in it. And again, orange is used, a lot of citrus is used in Chinese cuisine. So we thought we wanted to keep things that were really classic and really not modernize them or not make them more, let's say, glamorous, but really go back to what it was that Chinese food is all about.
Okay.
Really colorful.
Thank you.
And our 3rd book, Deborah, what do you recommend?
David Bezmozgis, his book of short stories, so again, a different type of book, Immigrant City. He was on the Giller finalist list for his last novel, The Betrayers, but the first book that really came to attention was the book of short stories featuring Natasha, which has recently been made into a film. So he's come back to the short story genre, and these there's only 7 short stories, so you get a chance to sort of of get into them a little bit. And they talk about the immigrant experience again, making connections, how the old country and you know, has impact on the new and the experiences, and just trying to create a life for yourself. There's all sorts of wonderful connections between new immigrants of different cultures and how they work things out. So again, lots to talk about.
And Sebastien, what have you paired that with?
Okay, so Immigrant City, we thought melting pot.
Yep.
I mean, why not? It worked out really, really well. So what we did is we started with a Moroccan tagine, okay, which is basically a Moroccan stew, but then we added Italian spices and African spices to really show all the different ethnicities and to show, you know, the melting pot that is the book and representative of that. The other thing we did, which we thought for decor would be fun, is first the book starts out, or the short story series starts out at a tech conference. So we found these great old pieces of tech and stuff, and one of the things that I really like, which was not easy to find, is these little floppy disks.
Yes.
3.5 inch. So the reason we chose those is because they're absolutely useless for anything nowadays except coasters. They're amazing coasters.
Good
Love it.
idea.
We're a big
Beer
fan of you
coasters.
both,
That's
Deborah
good.
Dundas and Sebastian Centner. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.